Hello and welcome back to GG Weekend Watch, where we are continuing our Royal Ascot 2023 preview. We are on to day 3, where Daryl Carter, Andrew Mount and I will be looking through all 7 races on the card. And we begin with the Speedy Babies. It's the Group 2 Norfolk for the 2-year-olds over 5 furlongs at 2:30. And we look to have a right matchup here between the seemingly best of the British with Elite Power taking on the red, white and blue blood of American Rascal, who is the first foal out of the Wonder Mare that was Lady Aurelia. But Daryl, are you being patriotic or are you going against your country?
Yeah, I'm being patriotic. Elite Status has done absolutely nothing wrong in 2 starts. I thought that was a really red-hot renewal of the National Stakes at Sandown, and he made an absolute mockery of it. He was really obviously very impressive at Doncaster at the time before on soft ground. Then again at Sandown on good ground. He just looks a very, very smart animal. The time was very good. It backs up his performance. Everything just looks spot on to me. With the right trainer, yeah, 7-4 I think is very generous. But obviously with these 2-year-olds, they can take big step forwards and they can take big step backwards on their next start. So always wise to tread a little bit carefully. But I do think Elite Status is a proper one. I think this is a I'm not going to say good thing, but I think he's going to.
You can. I also must apologise. I think I called him Elite Power, did I, as well? I'm flying too many American flags nowadays. My God, they're all getting into my head. Elite Status, definitely the British horse. To be fair, if Elite Power came over for Royal Ascot, then be unbelievable. But Elite Status, though, it is for Daryl. Andrew.
Yeah, same for me. Elite Status for Carl Burke. Again, we don't know the draw, we don't know the ground, and we're sort of guessing as to how good the American horse is. American Rascal, the Wesley Ward's runner. But yeah, as things stand, it'll be Elite Status for me as well.
It's going to be great, though, isn't it? I cannot wait to see these 2 speedsters. We could literally have 2 of the quickest horses from America and Britain going head-to-head over the Flying 5 in the Norfolk to open the card on Thursday. Now we are onto the King George, even the 5th stakes in race 2, a Heritage Handicap for 3-year-olds over a mile 4 at 3:05. Andrew, I'm heading to you for this one, please.
Yeah, the King George, this is a good draw race. Generally pays to avoid those drawn low in single figures, particularly stalls 1 to 5. If you look at the last 11 renewals, those drawn 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 got a combined record of 1 from 55. Now that winner was Hookham, who was running off a mark of 90 and is now rated 122. I mean, that was an incredible renewal because Subjectivist was in that race, ran 3rd off 94. He's now rated 123. So it kind of shows you, how much you might have to have in hand, to win this race. So, yeah, obviously we don't know the draw yet, but Struth, who was second to a horse I mentioned for the Queen's Vase, the Andrew Balding runner, whose names conveniently escape me. I thought he did well to run second in that Doncaster contest because he was up with the pace on a track that rarely favours such tactics. Yeah, St George is the one he was second to. That's the race Mark Johnson often targets, and you look at the horses he's running that over the years, they often go on to better things. So yes, Struth was a winner at Chester the time before when he came from the back, unusually for one from the yard. So I'm not quite sure why they changed tactics at a track that doesn't favour such a move. So yeah, tactically it'll be interesting, but I'll go with him at what should be a good price.
And to say, you managed to avoid doing the accent as well, considering he's by Australia. He's very well named. And I thought that was just going to tee it up perfectly for you to actually give it full stops. Struth, to give him his proper name, though, for Andrew. Daryl?
Yeah, there's a good few in here that's got a fair bit in hand, to be honest. I'm going to hold fire on really being bullish about 1 or 2 because I think that some of them are really well ahead of the handicap, but one of those being Market Value for William Haggis, opening mark of 82, could be well ahead of that on the basis of that Ripon performance last time. The other one is Perfuse of 94. This was a really good effort, beating Inquiring Minds at Doncaster, same the time before when absolutely dotting up at Nottingham. There's another one, Wonder Legend for James Ferguson, who looks a real nice animal going forward. I'm not going to make a selection. Actually, if I have to make a selection right now, it would be market value, because I cannot believe that this horse is not better than 82. But there is, as we will find with the Britannia later, there is, like, this is going to come down, a lot of it's going to come down to the draw, etc. Because a lot of these do have a good bit in hand. There's some really nice crisscross form lines with some of the group of horses. So it excites me, these 3-year-old handicaps.
Yeah, really intriguing. Like I say, so many horses that could potentially have plenty in hand, but we have literally only just sort of seen this confirmation stage only a few hours ago. So yeah, it hasn't left us with much time to really look at this. But at this stage, though, if you had to have a selection, market value, you're siding with the Royal runners. You are feeling very patriotic for this Royal Ascot, aren't you, Daryl? So yeah, we like that a lot. We expect you to be donning the full top hat, tails, and to be singing along on the band at the bandstand by the end of the day with all of the anthems blaring out. So hope to see that. Actually, no, we won't get to see you though, will we? Just to enlighten viewers, though. I'm
off to Portugal to jump out of a plane. It's my stag do, yeah. So I'm off for how long am I off for? About 10 days. So
yeah. And again, just to enlighten viewers out there, Daryl did not know it was Ascot week then when he planned it all the way back along. Could not have timed it to any more perfection, but we will hopefully get to see the footage of you jumping out of a plane anyway. So we'll look forward to that post Royal Ascot. Right, we will move on to our next race now. A race that had me banging my head against a brick wall for the last couple of days. This is the Group 2 Ribblesdale for the 3-year-old fillies over a mile 4 at 3:40. Who runs here? Nobody knows. I don't know. In the last 24 hours, horses have been saying they weren't going to run, and then they have been supplemented, and then certain other ones that are now going to take their place. But it's been an absolute nightmare. So Daryl, just over to you.
Yeah, Asifah is a good thing, I think, in this. I've actually started chipping away at this at 12-1 for the Arc, so I hope she wins this. Otherwise, I'll be a little bit embarrassed. She just, Jesus, like a good word, she just turned it into an absolute joke. Like she reminded me of, I don't want to say too many things because people have pulled me up on it, and but she reminded me of Baid, the way she quickened from one gear to another. Second to last furlong, she was clocking 10.65, and her final furlong 11, almost 11 flat, and she was in a canter. Like, it's not even asked. It's absolutely ridiculous, ridiculously impressive. I thought. I think she'll take a world of beat in this. I think she'll end up being the best 3-year-old of filly of the season. And I can see her going to the Arc later in the year. And if the ground's right for her, and getting sort of, I think they're getting a £10 allowance, don't they?
Yeah, they will. Like I say, the 3-year-old fillies then in the Arc, it's just, it is something that we all like to note. And there are a few likeable ones already before she then came out with the latest run who already looked like they would be likely targets for that. But then she's kind of blitzed that, really, hasn't she? And you say about the Baid reference, I wouldn't be afraid to say that, because plenty of people have made that, like saying the same colours then as well. It would be wonderful to see if we've got another superstar on our hands. And she has been supplemented for the Ribblesdale, Andrew. But how are you now approaching this?
Asifah got the potential to go off a lot shorter than 5-4 on here. So yeah, great to see her supplemented. Hugely impressive at Goodwood. I think she'll win quite comfortably.
Oh, like it a lot then. Hopefully a potential star that we'll get to see in the Ribblesdale. I'll forgive the race for wrecking my head if she goes and dots up in the manner that you are both expecting. Now we're on to the feature race of the whole of Royal Ascot. It is a Group 1, a Gold Cup for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 4 at 4:20. A division that looked a little bit lost at the start of the season, but with each passing week that's gone, it has got more and more interesting. But it is Coltrane who heads the way as a 3-1 market leader. Andrew, who takes the biggest prize of them all?
Don't know.
I teed it up for you and everything. I teed it up like that.
Yeah, it's not a race I'm particularly excited by.
Thank you. Cheers for compounding that. Thank you.
Yeah, you look at it and think, oh, Coltrane is 3-1 favourite, but then you go through the rest of it and think, well, actually, probably not a bad price. I mean, you'd certainly be happy to stick him in your place pot. It's a 3 goes here. First, second by head to True Shannon. First, he's progressive, but I was looking at the one who chased him home last time out in the Cigaro Stakes for 2 miles here. That was a Wise Eagle, of course, trained by Adam Nichols. Tend to have gone, goes under the radar, often plies his trade in handicap company. But my God, he's just great, isn't he? He just, comes from the back of the field, stays on, and just, keeps galloping. He's only had 2 goes beyond 2 miles before, both last season, winning over 2 miles 2 at Musselburgh and later at Pontefract. So, I don't see why he can't run another big race. And I think he's about 33 to 1. So, certainly the Coltrane Wise Eagle forecast, or Exacta, no reason why they can't finish 1-2 again. So that's the way I'll be looking on the day.
So siding with that form line, like say they finished 1-2. Yeah, we've got 1 as a 3-1 market lead, and then 33 to 1 about Wise Eagle. What a great story that would be for Adam Nicol. Only trains a very, very small handful of horses, but he has got the best and then some out of Wise Eagle. 33 to 1. Good way to play the Exacta for Andrew, Daryl.
Yeah, I can see why a few of these are appealing. Like, I can see why people would back Coltrane at 3 to 1, because he's just a guaranteed stayer, isn't he? He's been here, he's done it, he's not really got any questions to answer. But I do feel that this is a division that's needed sort of a new lease of life bred into it. And I think we've got that this year. So, excuse me. So I think this is going to be quite an interesting race. I'm happy to sort of take on Coltrane, really, and try and pick something out that might just turn into a stayer. Lone Eagle is a horse I'm quite interested in. Now, this is obviously a big jump up from 1.5 miles. Another mile he's got to go, but I do think he's been shaping like he wants further, particularly at Chester behind Hamish last time. He was just out of pace coming around a bend. He was staying on quite strongly. He actually finished with running left, and that was on soft ground. I know he's been a bit of a fragile horse, but I think quicker ground will definitely suit him. And he was second in the Irish Derby. Like, he's a class act. I do like these class acts sort of stepping up to this sort of trip. Remember when Subjectivist did it? Like, he was running in some decent races, some major trials and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing Lone Eagle go over this trip if he does. And I think your beer is crying out for this. Meg tells me he won't stay, but I genuinely think he's crying out for this trip. He's always staying on at the end of his races. Stamina in abundance. He's bred for it. He was just caught out for a bit of pace at Newbury last time in the LRN, and finishing very, very strongly. He's obviously a globe hopper. He's a class act. He's rated 119. Like, I think he'll enjoy this step up and trip. So I'm quite keen on your beer. And I think Lone Eagle is interesting as well. So the two of those against the field for me.
12 to 1 about your beer, and watch your Eagles, because Daryl's just mentioned Lone Eagle then at 40 to 1, and Andrew was with Wise Eagle. So do just watch your Eagles. And if you were playing the GG yeah, there you go. There's your Eagle forecast. Yeah. And if you were playing the GG Weekend Watch Bingo, you've got the 5th lineup, because it was Daryl's pronunciation of our old friend Hamish that managed to go in to seal the line. Bingo all round. And we still got it's wonderful. We talk about this horse. He's another sponsor of our podcast, is dear old Hamish/Hamish. Right, handicap action up now in the form of the Britannia, a heritage handicap for the Colts and Geldings, aged 3 years and over a mile at 5 o'clock. Another one of the most competitive handicaps of the year. So, Carol, we have loads of unknowns. So do you want to just chuck us some names at this stage that we can be watching out for at least?
Yeah, I love this race. Dockland's very interesting for Harry Eustace. Chase Stone, Sierra's Gift at Wolverhampton, a couple of starts back, but it's just been really progressive since then. Has won over course and distance. Just sort of worry about his speed, but he's definitely well ahead of the handicap off 94. Good Karma is interesting for the same trainer. For James Ferguson. I get them two mixed up for some reason. Again, just worried about him for speed, but he's ahead of the handicap off 91. Just going down the list here. Where am I? Physique caught the eye at Goodwood last time. That race caught quite a good time, so he's interesting. Royal Pape's interesting, but I don't think he's going to have the pace to win this. In all honesty, he might want to go up and trip, but off 89, that's an absolute joke. He ran behind Convey. That's Haydock last time, came from the rear of the field and steamed home. He's very interesting. Surely Not has been a horse that I originally marked down for this race. He won at Chester for us quite cozily at the finish, and I think a big field scenario will definitely suit him. You can just be held up, travel. He's got that turn of foot, which a few of these might not have. And the other one is Zerab. It's just been given an opening rating after running 16 days ago at Leicester of 88. Surely he's better than that. So again, depends on draw, because a lot of these do have a bit in hand. But if you had to pin me to a selection right now without seeing anything else, which is very irresponsible, but it would probably be Surely Not.
It's very good of you, though. Like you say, we just kind of, for all that, I mean, like you say, we preach sensible gambling, of course, and we all have done that throughout, where we've saying, please do watch out for the draw and the headgear and everything else. But obviously, we're recording this, and we'd like to try and point you in a direction of the strongest horse that we fancy at this stage without knowing those other variables. And Daryl has provided that for you. So appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Andrew, Britannia.
Yeah, very little to say at this stage. Docklands has got the running style and the course form. Haley Turner rides the straight track well here. And the other one's half interesting was Forza Tomeo, the Ammo racing horse I put up as a bet at Epsom last time out, and looked like he's going to win at one stage. And I thought, well, at least we've got the place money. And then he got swamped and finished 7th. And that was over 10 furlongs. Did well from the front end in the London Gold Cup over 10 furlongs as well at Newbury the time before, finished 5th, did second best of those who were up with the pace. Coming back to a mile, be interesting what the tactics are, if they try and blast off. So obviously we need to know the draw and what other pace angles there are potentially. But yeah, I thought he might run a race at what should be a big price. But yeah, check columns closer to the time.
Definitely. So yeah, watch out for the lads' columns on the website there for their plays nearer to the time we actually know the makeup of the race. But both of them keen at having a good play at the Britannia all the same. Now back to group action up now in the form of the Group 3 Hampton Court Stakes for 3-year-olds over 10 furlongs at 5:35. Who wins it, Andrew?
That's a very good question.
I thought so too.
I thought the Ed Bethel runner. Is it Oviedo? Yeah, my pronunciation is.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, this is actually one that I struggle with. Yeah. Yeah,
if there was a bad pronunciation award, Daryl will be second to me this time around. So, but yeah, he wasn't. He justified favouritism in the Zetland Gold Cup at Redcar. He wasn't best drawn, and he still managed to win and do so quite comfortably. I thought there's going to be plenty more to come from him. So I'll make him the tentative pick at this stage. But again, I want to see the final makeup of the field, want to know the ground, and want to know the draw before I make a final decision.
For sure, but he's currently 20-1 at the minute, though. The Ed Bethel runner there, yeah, Oviedo. I thought it was, but that's one I definitely don't want to be quoted on. Daryl.
Yeah, that's too big, 20-1 for Oviedo. I quite like him as well. I think he's got a good chance. Again, I did the same thing at Redcar. I wrote up a horse for that race. I wrote up Pillar of Hope, and the first half of my column was speaking about Oviedo and saying how brave it was of Bethel to put a 3-year-old in, because there's not been many in there and they get such a weight allowance and this, that and the other, and he ended up winning. It's a bit of a joke, but he's a nice horse. He won with plenty in hand that day. I think he's ready for this step back up in grade. Canberra Legend, though, for me, 12-1, I think it's a huge price. I put a line through the Dante run. I haven't really got an excuse for it. He just didn't look himself, to be honest. His run previous to that at Newmarket, it's just worked out really well. And I think he's got loads more to come. I thought he's very green in the dip that day. I thought he needed every yard of that mile one. So I think this stiff track will definitely suit him. If he can get Daniel Muscat can get him rolling from that turn into home, I don't think he'll be stopping. I think he's quite a nice horse, and I think his trainer thinks quite a bit of him. So yeah, Canberra Legend for me.
Yeah, 12-1, and like I say, James Ferguson has been very bullish about him in the past, hasn't he? Canberra Legend. Yeah, I think you couldn't help but pick up on the way that he just eulogised about this horse previously. So hopefully more to come from him in the Group 3 at Hampton Court Stakes. And now we sign off with another feasible handicap on day 3. It's the Buckingham Palace Stakes for 3-year-olds and over 7 furlongs at 6:10. Nice and easy one for you to send us off with, Daryl.
Yeah, sweet Jesus.
You are welcome.
Alban for me. He is a big eye catcher at Epsom again. He comes very good at this sort of time of year. He's building up to. Is
he going for the Hunt Cup, Daryl?
Is he? I was hoping he wouldn't, because I thought he would get the. I don't think he's quite strong over a mile. I thought.
Yeah, he's shorter for the Hunt Cup in the anti-post list, but there's not a great deal in it. 20 over 20 is compared to 25-1.
That's bollocks if he does. Well, then I have no selection.
Okay, fair enough. Then we'll just
prefer him over 7. I'll prefer him over 7. I think he gets a stronger pace to aim at over 7 as opposed to a mile, and I don't think he's quite as strong at a finish over a mile, unless it's like a downhill mile like Epsom or Goodwood or something like that. So.
Yeah, so like I say, just wait and see. He's currently a 25-1 shot though for this, and then I've just seen he is 20-1 then for the Royal Hunt Cup. We've got a few of those horses that are doing the kind of crossover, and Montasib was one of those ones that was doing the crossover as well. But expected him to go back for this race just as he ran in last year. But we have got that bit of a crossover, Andrew. So where did you look?
Yeah, sorry to pee on your chips with that one, Daryl. I hope that doesn't happen on your steak too.
I'd say that's probably the best thing that might happen.
Yeah,
It'll be a lot worse than that.
At least that'll happen. Yeah, a while who's second in the Lincoln could run here instead of the Royal Ascot would be half interested coming back in trip. Croupier, of course, who did well to win. Up with the strong pace at York when I think the runner-up third and fourth were ridden patiently. And there's one here, a bit of a darker horse, 100 to 1 I've seen. This is Abduction for Jim Goldie, and ran well against the pace bias at Musselburgh last time out. You look at that race, Leah Marty Dreams made the running, got towards the inside rail, never headed. The runner-up was prominent, and Abduction came from off the pace to grab third, doing best of the closers. And obviously it's a bit of an ask compared to the standard race that he normally runs in, but he keeps doing that. He keeps running at Musselburgh, track that doesn't suit patient tactics. He keeps running well, catching the eye from off the pace. I thought it was semi-interesting if coming here.
Oh, if he gets in, Spangled Mac's interesting.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say, really.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, I just thought
And I suppose Popmaster, who bounced back to form, if he turns out quickly, he could be quite interesting.
33 to 1 then about Spangled Mac there, just to throw in, like you say, for the last minute for the Buckingham Palace Stakes. Well, lads, you've done very well considering you've had a very short window of time for you to look at day 3 for the horses that we might have lining up at this stage. But I bought you a bit of time there because you know what's coming. You know what's coming. Andrew, you're up first. Your nap for day 3, please.
Oh, I've forgotten again, haven't I? We're looking for a nap. Good question. I'm going to go for, no, that's day 2. I'll go elite status in the Norfolk.
Elite status, not elite power, in the Norfolk. Daryl?
I was going to go the same, but I'll go Al Asifah. I know she's short, but if you want a winner, just want a winner.
That price 4 to 5 that she's now been put on at could look pretty feasible if she is the superstar. We hope she all is. And I'm going to side with Coltrane in the Gold Cup. I completely forgot to give the reasoning. To be fair, he kind of makes his own reasoning anyway, so I wasn't really missing out on a spiel there. But just to reiterate the points that we were talking about earlier on, winning the Ascot Stakes last season and just continuing to improve with each of his starts last year. A very typical Andrew Balding horse in every way. Reappearance in the Group 3 Sagaro Stakes, mightily impressive, and he just looks as though he's progressed from a 5 to a 6-year-old anyway. Stamina, as you said, Daryl, cannot be questioned, unlike a few of these, and he can confirm his class as well. So Coltrane it is for me in the Gold Cup at 420. Right, that is everything from us from the first 3 days of Royal Ascot 2023. A big thank you to Daryl and to Andrew for all of their hard work. Daryl, we will not be seeing you for the final 2 days. That will just be Andrew and I previewing those because we wish you good luck on your stag do. We expect to see full hangover type camera reels when you get back, please. I expect the whole lot to be uploaded on the next podcast when we get you back. I'm going to go and have a cold shower or something because it's absolutely baking here. Hopefully the sun will beat down and will be nice at Royal Ascot for everyone attending next week. Best of luck with your bets. Big thank you to our sponsors, Bet UK, and we'll speak to you again very soon.